And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Saxon Club here, the home of the YSN MVCA Playoff Preview Show. We are joined by a guy that I've wanted to talk to for a very long time, Coach Lude of the Western Reserve Blue Devils. Coach, fantastic year. And the thing that I love most about your team is just the grit. You guys are built on grit. It is just fire every time you guys take the football field. Talk to me about the turning point in this football season for your team.
Yes. I think grit's a great word. Our offensive line takes great pride. We were just talking about them before we got on here. It started January 1st. We wanted to start 6 a.m. lifting there at Western Reserve. And the first day we showed up, we had kids showing up at 5:15. They were so hungry to get after it after that bad taste in their mouth from losing to Jackson Milton and losing to McDonald last year that we actually had to move lifting up. We starting at 5:30 a.m. in the off season. And had elite numbers with our lifting. So I think it started there and it's carried into the season.
I feel like you're that team that's never late. Like your kids, you don't have to tell them what time the kickoff is because they're ready 10 minutes before.
Absolutely. Berlin Center, that's all they care about, running the football, playing football, and having a good time afterwards for sure.
I love it, Stevie.
One of the studio guys is the Audible called. These are one of the guys that I picked to watch. It's one of the games I watched. We had Coach Pavlon from Poland. And DJ, I think you guys are very similar. Not a lot of teams can go through what you guys did the first 3 weeks to credit to your coaching staff and your kids, but the progression from those first 3 weeks to now. How special has that been for you as the head coach to watch these kids gel?
Absolutely. I'm very proud of our guys. I think as soon as the schedule came out, you look at it, and you look at those first three, and you're like, hey, we're going to be tested. We had 2 teams on our schedule that played in a state championship last year in Springfield and then in Warren JFK. Liberty just went toe-to-toe down the stretch with undefeated Garfield and LeBray, who's having a great year. They had an awesome year. And then Brookfield's been right there all year as well. So the fact that was for the first 3, our guys battled. And I think the one thing you can say in those games, they didn't give up. I know the scores got away from us a little bit, but they played really, really hard, and I think that helped us in the second half of the year.
So the draw goes you guys in Springfield, one of our 2 all-local matchups here. When you see that, you strike me as the kind of guy that doesn't go, oh, boy. You take it as a challenge, and you challenge your students.
They got to go down at some point. We just said that before they got on here. It's been a long time since Western Reserve has beat those guys. Bo Brungard's a heck of a player, and Coach Guerrero's doing a great job over there, their whole staff. But as soon as we found out we were playing those guys, you worry about that as a coach. Like, are they going to bow to the Tiger, or are they going to want to play that game? And when we found out, there was excitement in the room. And our senior said it best, when our senior captain stood up, he goes, we want to be the ones to knock these guys off. We got to go through them at some point if we want to make the run that we want to run, so we might as well be the first ones to do it. So that was encouraging and exciting to see for sure.
I mean, as a young coach, you have to admit that when somebody stands up and says that gets your blood pumping a little bit, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Like, we were ready to play that day. It's like, we were just coming off a very tough loss. Like the night before to lose, we played a big, hungry Rootstown team that was trying to make the playoffs. A big physical lineman and everything, and they took it to us down the stretch there. The fact that the next morning you find out you're playing Springfield and you get that response, it's definitely encouraging, and I think that's a lot of credit to the type of kids we got out there.
Do you feel like the second time gives you a little bit more? Because, like, we just talked to coaches trading tapes. Like, what you're getting. There's nobody that doesn't know who's going to be battling across from them on the line. Do you feel that gives you a little bit of an advantage?
Yeah, I definitely think it does as well. I think they can make the same case. Yep. They know how we're going to come at them. The 3 times we played in the 2 years that we played them, we've held the ball a lot, and we know that. And we're going to hold the ball again. We ain't going to lie to them. Like, our goal is to keep them off the field, take 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's old school football. Our kids take great pride in that. Our big thing is we have to finish. In all 3 games that we played against them so far, we haven't finished. We've had opportunities. The first game last year, we're in the red zone inside the 10 twice, and we don't finish. The second game, same thing. We get down there, and we don't finish. And then the first game this year, it's 6-0, and in the blink of an eye, it's 28-0 before the half because we don't finish a drive. All of a sudden, we turn it over. We give up a punt return, and we fumble. And that's what good teams do. So if we want to have a chance to beat these guys, we have to finish. And I think our guys know that.
I love the excitement level on him.
I love it, man. So all I get is football. I get into it with my fiance all the time. She's like, you're just trying to make appearances because I go to, like, youth stuff. And, like, last night I'm at the Salem West Branch game because, it was unbelievable atmosphere. I coached at Salem for 12 years. So still have a lot of good relationships there. And yes, and I owe Ron Johnson a lot for where I am today. So to go see that and see that game, like being away from it from 2 years, it still hurt, man. Like I was in the end zone watching it, and that game's a special game, so it was cool to see that. And a bunch of our kids went, so that was encouraging too, because our kids love football too. Yep. I saw 10 of our guys there, and it's like, the area is just incredible.
That's what football's all about, playoff time, dude. You know that.
Well, and that's
Absolutely.
the funny thing is you take a very prideful program like yours, a program that is so rich in traditions and championships, and you guys are back. Last year's a wash. Everybody made it that wanted to go in, but you take your team back to the playoffs. That has to give you a little bit of pride inside for you and for these guys that grew up watching the Blue Devils and wanting to be there, water boys and all that. That has to be such a great feather in their cap. But it's not good enough to make the playoffs. You want to make an impact.
Absolutely. We were part. So I played for Coach Topoleski in track. He coached my dad in football in the 80s. He kind of put Berlin Center football on the map. When I played football, I played for Coach Capacci, and actually John Armini at LeBray was our offensive line coach. So, we learned a lot of stuff. We got it turned around for the first time in 20 years. And then when Andy came in, they took it to places that had never been before. So when I got here, that's what I told him in the interview. I'm not here to tear it down. Berlin Center is about tradition, and tradition doesn't graduate. And that's been our message to our guys since we got here, and I think they've done a good job of that.
Coach, you have done a great job with your kids. We're proud of you. We're proud that you're on YSN. We love watching your games. Good luck in the playoffs. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Love talking about our guys, so anytime,
Awesome. We'll take you up on that.
Absolutely.
Be careful. You'll end up on YSN more than I am.
That's fine.
We'll be back right after this on YSN.